Hi, friends. Welcome back to the Spina Bifida. If you've ever brought a child home from the hospital, you know that those first few days with a newborn are joyous and stressful. The same is true when you bring home a child with special needs like spina bifida. It's the same, but a little different because there are some additional medical concerns. Katie is going to talk about some of those concerns and challenges we had when we brought Finley home. Thank you for watching, and please remember to like, subscribe, and maybe share these videos with people who you think it might also benefit. Thank you.
So, bringing a baby home. Already, this is super stressful because just babies are stressful, right? Like, just babies are stressful. I remember having my first and being like, oh, I'm in charge of this human. And now this is like a whole nother thing, right? Kids with spina bifida, babies with spina bifida, naturally don't have to be super medical. So, we're very like, what has to be different than taking care of a normal baby without spina bifida? And they were like, no big deal. Like, there's a couple of things, but normally they're like, everything's the same except for these couple of things. One was some kids have to have back closures. Now, spina bifida, there is an issue with the spine, right? But there's many different issues. Sometimes if it's broken through the skin, the lesion has. Sometimes it hasn't broken through the skin. Sometimes it's little. Sometimes it's big. It's just all different. There's so many different varieties and so many different ways that they are affected. And so it just depends. Finn had to have a back closure the next day. And with that, he had to be kept off of his back. So that was a big thing that we had to deal with at home. And then that, again, that's like diapering, laying down, having a bottle, blah, blah, blah. He just couldn't have pressure on that incision. The other thing was some kids with spina bifida have to have shunts. When there is an obstruction in the spine, which Finn had, then the fluid that is made in your brain cannot go down your spine. Everyone has it. It's supposed to go down your spine. Finn's cannot. So his head was very, 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 very big. We've talked about this. And so they had to put a shunt, and they decided to put the shunt right here. I don't know what made them do that decision, but they put a shunt right here, and it went down around his ear, down through his neck, down, and emptied out into his stomach cavity. So those are the two things we had to watch out for. With the shunt, they said, so just watch out for shunt failure. And they're like, what do I have to watch out for? And they're like, well, there's symptoms, but every kid kind of has their own signs. I'm like, oh, that's scary, because a symptom can be crying. A symptom can be sleeping. So, okay, that's what babies do. And you can't tell me if something's wrong. So that's very, very scary. So a lot of anxiety, but I think coming home, it really was okay to start with. We definitely had that worrying about his back, worrying about the shunt, but otherwise it's a baby. Another thing that some parents have to think about is that occasionally kids with spina bifida have to be catheterized. A lot of times that is a byproduct of spina bifida. And so we were taught how to do that in the hospital. Now, taught was shown a couple of times, did not feel strong about it at all, did not feel like we knew what we were doing. But they said, well, when we've cathed here, not much has come out. And so maybe try one time at home. And then if there's not much, then you're fine to not do it until we check again. And so we got home, we tried it. It was a very stressful experience. I remember both being on the ground, trying to have everything set up, and being like, okay, we do this, we do this. We don't know what to do. Is it in too far? Is it not enough? It was very stressful. Not much came out, So we, at this point, then and up till now, he's 5 now, we have not had to catheterize him. So we don't know much about that process. We will definitely talk with some people who do know more about that process. And the thing is that his his bladder doesn't work. The muscles in his bladder, they just are loose and they don't work. So he's still in diapers, and unless we want to change that, that's how it's going to be. And later on, when if he decides himself really to change that, then we would have to learn how to do that. And I've heard from many people that it's just like any other thing that when you do it a lot, it becomes second nature to you. So if you're in the throes of that, it's okay. It will get easier, I am told, but I don't know much about that. The other thing is when we got home, my parents, my side, and my sister in law and brother in law were kind of taking turns taking care of my son. So we didn't have to worry about him. He was he was a little shy of 3. So it was just easier for him to just not be around. At the hospital, obviously, it was during COVID, couldn't have him around. And then for a couple of days there, we kind of got settled, tried to figure out this new normal with Finn. So if you have that availability to have somebody take care of your other kids while you're staying at home trying to figure out this new normal, that's a good idea. I would think everyone is different, everyone decides what they need and want, but it was good for us to kind of just try to figure out how this is all going to work at home now, and then kind of introduce Paxton, my other son, into it. So that'd be my advice. So when you have these things that you have to be watching for and things that you aren't quite sure about, a very common thing to do is to call your doctor. Our doctors were in Ann Arbor, so we were about an hour and a half away, which is not like a quick just go to your doctor, right? So we would call, and especially with the shunt, we were very nervous about every little thing, right? So, like, because it's crying could be a symptom, throwing up could be a symptom, sleeping too much couldn't be a symptom. And so, me for sure, like, am I doing this right? Huh? I was always like, okay, is this crying too much? And I think we called maybe 3 times trying to say, like, is this shunt failure? We're not sure. Like, what is what? And we're always disappointed with the answer because the doctor would listen, and it was usually an on-call person, and so it's not my doctor, right? It's not the doctor that delivered him, and he would say like, would listen and say, if you feel like it's an issue, then you should bring him in. I'd be like, I don't know if it's an issue. I'm like, well, if you feel like it's an issue, then you should bring him in. Well, can you tell me if it's an issue? They can't. They can't give you medical advice over the phone. They can say if they for sure think they should could come in, but I stuff was very vague, right? Like I kind of like be like, here's a video, watch him in FaceTime. Here you go. Does he look like it's? Do you know what I mean? So and they don't always know your kid either, right? The parents are the best. They have that gut instinct of their child. Now I don't know if I had that yet, so we didn't have great experience with that on-call system. But what did help us was we got connected immediately into Facebook groups. I had already been connected into them when I was talking about, is this my fault? I'm so distressed about having this spina bifida kid. Um, and they helped me a lot through that. And they continue to help. And they continue to say, if I would post a video and say, is this normal? Is this okay? They would help out and say, like, oh, yeah, my child's done that. That's been fine. Or maybe you should get that checked out. Or, but unless they say, like, oh, that's bad. Ugh. We didn't really have any of that in the first little bit. So that's very helpful. I'm very thankful for the community because it's a very strong community. And for those who don't have community, I'm very sad for and hope they can get community. Some of those rare diseases that don't have that community, and spina bifida is really it's very common, and so it's nice that so many people have had that experience, and so many people can. I mean, we have friends from all over, right? So it's nice. It's a good community. Pretty quickly, we realized that it wasn't going to be as easy as a lot of other kids with spina bifida because we were having some issues that were not presenting themselves yet at the hospital. One of the first things that we noticed was that he wasn't eating very well. I did not do breastfeeding. I pumped and then put it in a bottle and fed him through a bottle. I just don't. Couldn't latch before with my first son, and it was very stressful for me. And so I just said, you know what? I'm just going to pump and put it in a bottle, and it's fine. That is best. That kind of was easier for me too because he couldn't be on certain positions because of his back, and so that kind of just helped to just make it more um, uniform for me, and then my husband could help as well, which was easier on me. Kind of giving it equalizing the sharing the burden, I guess, of having another new baby. He would throw up a lot. And when he was drinking, kind of felt like he was drowning. Like he would like take two sips and then go like just. And I was like, what is wrong? Like he could hardly. And then like he would throw up, and it wasn't feeding wasn't a pleasant experience at all. And I was quite nervous about it. I was also worried to take him back in because I didn't want anything to be wrong. Do you know what I mean? I was like, this is probably I was in denial. I don't want anything to be wrong, so this is just gonna heal itself and it's gonna be fine. And then he started having some breathing issues, and that's when everything kind of went downhill. And we will cover that next time.
Well, that's all we have for you in this episode. If you enjoyed the content, please like and subscribe so you can see future episodes. Thank you again for watching. Please remember that nothing shared in this episode is to be considered medical advice. We're just a family with a child with some special needs talking about our experiences and hoping that they help you. Thank you.